Who y'all recruiting nation? Chief Totemay here. Welcome to episode 20 of Uncharted Waters with the one, the only, the architect of success, the people's champ, Admiral James Waters. Today we have two spectacular guests, two hometown heroes from the great state of California. To start out, 32 years of naval service. Started off as an enlisted submariner, grew to the ranks of a surface warfare officer, and now a human resource officer. Success at every level. Commanding officer, Navy Talent Acquisition Group, Golden Gate. Commander, Clinton, Ceralde. Next, we have the Bay Area's finest. 26 years ago, he departed this great area to go see success in the world, and he's brought it back for the people in this great area. This individual is unlike very much Master Chiefs across, or Command Master Chiefs. He has all the tools all our recruiters are equipped with. He sat the seat as a recruiter, a rank, a DLCPO, and an assistant chief recruiter. Today we have Command Master Chief Dewayne Benjamin. Gentlemen, welcome.
Yeah, it's great to have both of you here. It's great to be at NTAG Golden Gate with the Golden Dragons.
Yes, sir.
I am very happy to spend a few minutes talking with you all about your success and what you might be able to share with Recruiting Nation.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to have you guys here.
Thank you so much for having us, sir. Sir, to start off with you, can you tell us a little bit about your successes and just kind of a quick synopsis about your career, sir?
Yeah, so as you said, I came in the Navy 32 years ago as a seaman recruit. Started my career in submarines. From there, I was an enlisted recruiter myself. I did that for 3 years. And then thanks to the great leadership I had, they encouraged me to seek a commission. So I left recruiting to pursue Seaman Admiral 21 and went to school here locally in the Bay Area, Cal Maritime and ROTC at UC Berkeley. And then worked as a surface warfare officer for 6 years. Put in a package of lateral transfer as an HR officer because I wanted to come back to recruiting. And back then it was former Captain Tony Bugan who helped me with my package. Came back to HR, and then I've been doing that since. Enjoying it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Master Chief?
Yes.
Give us a quick synopsis about who you are.
I'm from Oakland, not the Bay. So I joined because I wanted to do something better for myself. So I started off as a heavy equipment operator, CB. I did that for a while. I took my wife across the waters to Italy, so I wanted to give her some time back with her family, so I came recruiting. I ended up loving it. Stayed recruiting for about 13 years. Made it to ACR, but my ultimate passion was to be a Command Master Chief, so I converted to Command Senior Chief. Went to Romania. Was my first command.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Ballistic Missile Defense Base.
Oh, yeah.
Then I went
Was that pretty early in that time?
I was the third Command Senior Chief there, so it was like right when everything was starting.
Yeah.
Poland wasn't even built yet, so
Yeah.
they were just
So
working on it.
I would imagine some of that helped with your perspective on, recruiters not necessarily being in foreign countries, but being way away from where the Navy normally operates.
Definitely, sir. I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere. We were on a base on side of a Romanian army base, and the biggest weapon we had was the 203.
Wow.
So at any time we could have been overran. So we really put our safety in their hands.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
sir. After that, I went to Lemoore to VFA 94. Then I was getting out the Navy. I got the opportunity to come recruiting. I'm like, okay, I would love to come back here. So I joined from this command. I was recruiting in this command. Now I'm a CMC of this command. So I took the opportunity, and I don't regret it whatsoever.
Yeah. Was the headquarters and the MEPS in this building that we're in right now?
Not when I joined, sir, but when I came recruiting, yes.
Yeah.
When I joined, the headquarters was in Oakland, downtown
Okay.
Oakland.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
Sir, can you talk to us a little bit about some of your leadership principles?
Yeah, so my philosophy when I came on board, and I talked this over with CMC, one of the things that we talked about is how are we going to change this command and turn it around. And so there's 3 things that I focused on. Number 1 is purpose, and we wanted to unite everybody around a common purpose. But not just that, we wanted every sailor to understand that they have a purpose here. Number 2 is people, and I don't say number 2 as in they're number 2. But really, we wanted to develop our sailors to make sure that they're the best that they can be. Because when they feel empowered to be their best, then they'll perform at their best. And then lastly, performance, because I think that's a byproduct of when you place purpose and people as your priorities, and performance follows. So.
Yeah, that's really a great set of leadership principles. You can clearly articulate it, It resonates with people, and the next step of that is acting, which on those principles, which you clearly have done.
Yes,
So
sir. Thank
really
you.
great.
Oh, yeah.
So CMC, what leadership qualities do you find critical or most critical in these difficult times in recruiting?
I guess pretty much having like empathy and sympathy at the same time. The sympathy part, because I've been through a lot of things they've gone through, and the empathy is that I can see what obstacles they may have, and just being open-minded. Also, just being very clear and understand, so making sure they understand what our mission is, and I listen to the sailors to see like exactly what their problems are. I travel a lot. I'm always in every station. I try to hit every station at least once a quarter. That's my version of walking the deck place, and that's how I get a lot of insight, and I get a pulse for the command. So that's about it.
Yeah, I think that leadership by walking around thing is so important. I mean, we've demonstrated it in the great commands that are afloat. It's really hard in this distributed command, but I think that sense of purpose and really dedication to getting out there and being present, super important.
Yes, sir.
Sailors know that you care because you've actually met them
Yes.
and talked with them, and I think that's really important.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
So, sir, you happen to command the NTAG in one of the major tech hubs. All the applicants around are typically maybe looking for opportunities within the tech field. How are you leveraging technology to ensure you will have access to your primary markets?
Ooh, that's a good question. So you don't see behind the camera here, we have our two PAOs, actually our former PAO and our current PAO, but they do a lot to make sure that we're advertising on social media. We use platforms like Instagram, Facebook primarily for the COIs, but Instagram for the kids, and then of course LinkedIn for our professionals, but that's what we're using.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely see you on LinkedIn where I tend to be active because I'm not a kid. I guess by your category that makes me a professional, so thank you. But you're active, and I really I think that's a great leadership by example that you're personally active. I think for all the recruiters out there, I encourage you to be active on your own social media, talking about the things that you love about the Navy, the things that you're talking to future sailors about. What is it that is exciting about this Navy journey?
Absolutely.
Lots of opportunity there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, Master Chief, what uncomfortable decision have you had to make in your career that has paid dividends, even though initially you probably didn't want to make it?
Good question. I would think converting from CRF to Command Senior Chief. I was a great recruiter, right? Not just from on my standards, but NRC standards. I was a great recruiter. I was a great ACR. Check the stats. Check the stats. And just leaving my comfort zone to go do something else, it was kind of hard. But it took my wife to tell me like, hey, you're great at everything you do, and you love your sailors. So, what does the CMC do? You're gonna take care of sailors. So she made it easier for me. But initially, that was a hard decision.
Yeah, I would just highlight at the beginning of that answer that I was a great recruiter. I love that about great recruiters, right? Because you say that, but there's hard evidence that you were a great recruiter, right? Because recruiters have a box score,
Yes, sir.
right? They have, how many people have I interacted with, all of that. And I think your experience there and understanding how hard recruiting really is, doesn't matter how much propensity is out there, you're still getting a whole bunch of no's for every one contract, right?
Yes,
and you've lived that. As you're talking to young recruiters that are developing, that sense of empathy and encouragement that you can provide when it doesn't feel like it's working, because I imagine that there are many days where recruiters feel like it's not working.
Yes, sir.
But it's those 100 no's that I've talked about before to get to the one yes, and consistently doing that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sir, are there any unique challenges that you have faced at the helm of being the commanding officer for NTAG Golden Gate that you've had to adapt and overcome?
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a good one. Yeah, I think there's been some really unique challenges. I think that I didn't experience when I was a recruiter, particularly with regards to what the opportunities are for the sailors around here or the future sailors around here. So we have, for example, places like In-N-Out, or even Starbucks, where they pay kids with a low barrier of entry. They can get jobs that pay over $20 an hour, and then possibly get help for college and things like that. So I think the way that we kind of overcame that is to make sure that our recruiters know to not just sell a paycheck, but sell a career, a
Yeah.
profession in which they can get world-class training, and then they can continue to progress and develop. So that's kind of how we overcame that. Is we're selling something more than just a paycheck.
Yeah, that's a really unique thing here. I mean, I guess it's not, maybe unique's the wrong word, but it's a high level of competition with a very tech savvy, high expectation society here in the Bay Area. And the fact that you've been able to operate at such a high level, right? And for those that don't know, NTAG Golden Gate, you've made mission for the year, and here we are, early in September, right?
Yes, sir.
What was the date? Do you know the date when you made it for the year?
It was sometime last week, I thought.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, last week you
last
made mission for the year,
Yeah.
right? So that's essentially a month early, but yet your philosophy and your work here in this tough in many respects market, tough in many respects, just as a testament to the the execution of that philosophy. It's really good.
Thanks, sir.
Love it. So, Mass Chief, with recruiting being sewn into the fabric of who you are, how do you ensure that the Navy's core value resonates with this younger generation?
Okay. Well, I think our Navy core values, it doesn't matter what generation it is, they resonate with no matter what. I think the way you get that to make it happen is how you convey that message. So what things do they value? Like this younger generation is like more personal accomplishment, teamwork, how can they make the world better? That's where their heads are at. So as long as you can make sure they understand that, how that fits in the honor, courage, and commitment, I think that's the winning spirit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
love
really
that.
good. That's really good.
So, sir, what would you consider 3 major pillars that any successful NTAG should have and value?
3 major pillars. I probably can't come up with anything that isn't already part of organizational science behavior. So I'll tell you something that I believe would work, and it has to do with something called the self-determination theory, where it talks about 3 factors that can help develop intrinsic motivation. Number 1, I think, is autonomy. And what I mean by autonomy is you give people the freedom to have ownership of the responsibilities you give them. The other one, I think next would be competence, because when people feel like they have mastery of their skill, they tend to perform better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think our responsibility as leaders is to make sure that they have the competence, and we do that by providing the training that they need, providing the resources, and then giving them the feedback they need to get better. And then the last thing is relatedness. People have to have some sort of relatedness where they feel a sense of belonging to the organization, but to one another as well. So I would say those 3 things. Those would be my 3
Yeah, those
pillars.
are really good. The relatedness, that sense of belonging. Everybody, it's built into the human condition,
Yes, sir.
right? We seek to be part of something, and it's great when it's something bigger than ourselves, right? Which,
Absolutely.
that instilled mission and that sense of spirit and family. I think that's really good. And when you talk about competence, I think being able to being able to break down what recruiting is into quantifiable things, into prospecting actions, rather than just sort of the nebulous concept of go out and all the things you have to do to get to a contract.
Yeah.
You figure that out, but give me the contract. That is a break of faith with our recruiters.
Yeah.
I think the work to get to prospecting actions, phone calls,
Yes, sir.
school visits, and really kind of quantifying it in a way that the recruiters can get their hands around, I think is really important.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, Mass Chief, How do you cultivate this strong leadership sense here at this command to ensure everybody at the NTAG is a contributing member to the mission?
I think lead by example is one major one. I mean, I have to show them what type of leaders I want them to be. Second one is like the EOD courses. You got to train them up, right? So myself, my CR, one of my senior chiefs, well, both of them should be, and my chiefs, my other chiefs, like we're all trained to actually go and teach EOD. And the CO has given me the autonomy to go out and push those classes. So we're like almost 85% complete with everybody going through EOD. Not just to hit a number, but they learn a lot in those classes, right? Then the empowerment. So a lot of times when you empower people, they take on ownership because it's theirs and they work hard for it.
Yes.
You know, and we do that a lot. The CO lets us do that. The CO lets me do my job. And then myself and the CR working together with us, I mean, we can't be stopped. So
That's right.
Yeah, I think you both have talked about autonomy, empowerment, that those two words, but the giving the team, the members of the team, you know, some clear idea of what the mission is, and then letting them do the work on their terms, I think is really important to get after it. And the second thing you said really warms my heart. The CR and I together, we can't be stopped. I love that, right? Because it's in everyone's interest that the CMC and the CR are lockstep on you know, sailors, mission, all of it. It's great.
yes, sir.
Yeah. So as we prepare to close out on episode 20, sir, where do you see NTAG Golden Gate in the next 12 months?
NTAG Golden Gate in the next 12 months, I see them to continue ride the wave. I think that you know, winning is contagious, and we've been winning. And I think as we get more new recruiters coming here, I think they'll be part of that winning culture. I see NTAG Golden Gate being more resilient, more adaptive, and just continuing to win.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's super appropriate that we're sitting here with your bell in the background, right? Because that thing's got some use.
Yes, sir.
Sir, closing remarks?
Yeah, thanks. This has been a great discussion. I really appreciate both of you sharing your experience. It's really interesting to me that you both have line recruiter experience, in addition to your much more extensive CRF experience. You know, I think that your ability to understand what your recruiters are going through is enhanced by that, and you've leveraged it really well to execute the mission that you've been assigned. So thanks for all you do. Thanks for sharing your tips and tricks and techniques. It's really not tricks. It's techniques and leadership skill with Recruiting Nation. So thanks for that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Recruiting Nation, thank you for tuning in to episode 20 of Uncharted Waters with the one, the only, the architect of success, the people's champ, Admiral James Waters, Chief Totem Mate, out.